Also known as Blackout value for me. A new method to unlock a scumbag every day, double cleanliness, slicing heat, both ancient and modern faces, quick wearing, 10,000 fans, immersive quick wearing. After Yun Qian's death, she was bound to the Blackout value returns to me system, which was very frustrating. She had to lower the male protagonist's Blackout value to 0 and then force it to full value, causing the male protagonist to only criticize her crazily in exchange for peace in the plain world. At first, Yun Qian refused, until the system told her that completing the task not only gave her immortality. There is still endless money to spend. From childhood to adulthood, Yun Qian had no desires, except for Grandpa Mao, who was her dream lover. In the end, Yun Qian agreed to bind, and opened the life of redeeming the male owner, the scum male owner, who was strongly favored by the male owner once again to be a good pregnant man. Plane 1, End. I am a cold and violent bully who still runs with the ball. Plane 2, ing. As a noble consort, I am the heavenly creation in the earth. Plane 3. Managing everyone in the love comprehensive fish pond. Plane 4. After redeeming the demon lord, I personally killed him. Plane 5. After being a scumbag, I went to pursue a career. Plane 6. The young master's concubine has gone out of the wall again. Plane 7. Sacrificing the male lead for self-protection in the apocalypse. Plane 8. Climbing to the emperor only to obtain cultivation. Plane 9. Falling in love with a professor just to avoid failing a course. Later on, she learned that she was not targeting the crazy critics, but rather the evil soul fragments of the Lord God. After purification, the fragments of evil souls gathered together to form a good soul, which awakened the Lord God. Since then, she can no longer escape from the palm of the Lord God, and the once again has been forced to become pregnant. Lightning protection. Pregnant and childbearing parts, mind accidentally entering. Disabled boss amp, Miss Zuo Jing 1. I want it. You are listening at novel full.audio. Lightning protection. Double clean slicing, some male protagonists with some crazy and sickly attributes, a small part of the world will be, but the final outcome will be pregnancy article. It's a novel where the blackening value is skyrocketing, and the male protagonist will take advantage of it. Fasten your seatbelts, we're going to drive. For all, what? Redemption of the male lead and then scumbag the male lead. That's right, that's roughly what it means. Let the male protagonist's blackened values disappear completely due to you, and then regenerate because of you. Only in this way, the plain world will not be destroyed by the male protagonist again. But I will be destroyed by the male lead. It's okay, it was destroyed to death. We can start over by reading the file. Is it all starting over again when reading files? Reading a file before you die, and every time you read a file, you will constantly move the time forward by about 30 minutes. The infinite cycle of death. How many deaths does it take to pass this level? But when Yun Qian thought that following the system to complete tasks could lead to longevity, and each plane still had a reward of 30 million, he agreed. The 888 system continues to introduce, each plane will give you a different identity and memory. Entering the plane world, the host can freely play. Okay, Yun Qian nodded. Isn't it just immersive quick wear? I'll just play role.playing. Asterisk load the first plane. These are the 3 young masters of our Huo family. I wonder which one Miss wants to choose to get married and obtain a certificate from. Miss Yun Qian looked at the 3 men in front of her, while she ignored the other 2 and couldn't help but focus on a man sitting in a wheelchair. At the moment when the 2 of them met in line of sight, the male protagonist Huo Yan sitting in a wheelchair had a flash of amazement in his eyes, and his breathing unconsciously became a bit disorganized. Ding dong. Unlock male protagonist, please accept. Name. Huo Yan identity. The 3rd young master of the Huo family who cannot be favored. Size. 10 stars duration. 6 stars job. 3 stars hobbies. 0 stars driving skills. Very good at finding something to enjoy. Strategy difficulty. 5 stars. Current blackening value 65%. Why is this introduction so abstract? It doesn't mean what I thought, does it? That's right, that's what you mean. Yun Qian felt embarrassed, but when she heard the system prompt that the other person was the male lead, she hardly hesitated and walked up to Huo Yan. She pointed her finger at the man in the wheelchair, but her face turned to Secretary Li and said, I want it. Not to mention that Secretary Li didn't react at the moment. The young master Huo Ming and the second young master Huo Shuai were also dumbfounded. Secretary Li ran up to Yun Qian repeatedly and whispered in her ear, "Third young master is a disabled person, and his leg is completely disabled. You're with him. What should we do in the second half of our lives? Let your grandfather know, he can't agree either." "This is my wedding, not my grandfather's wedding," Yun Qian lazily said. "Besides, he just has leg problems, not total paralysis. What can't he choose?" Secretary Li was momentarily speechless. She stood behind Huo Yan and pushed up his wheelchair, very familiar with him. "I'll take you to see my grandfather so we can discuss marriage," she said. "My name is Yun Qian, you can call me Qianqian, your name is Huo Yan, right?" "Which Yan?" "The banquet, the geese of the wild geese, or the inkstone of the inkstone, the yen of the sea and the clear river." Secretary Li followed behind them, feeling extremely anxious when Huo Yan dared not answer Yun Qian's words. He was afraid that Huo Yan would offend the Miss Yun and let the Yun family retaliate against the Huo family. So much so that Secretary Li had to cooperate in answering, "Yan with 3 flames." Yun Qian understood and enthusiastically said, "Then I'll call you Sanhua." Huo Yan. The man remained silent. Yun Qian was not angry either. In order to complete the strategic task, she persevered and persevered. "Are you not talking because you have a broken leg and feel inferior?" Yun Qian asked himself and replied, "It's really pitiful." Huo Yan. "But it's okay, do you still have me?" Yun Qian smiled brightly, suddenly bowing down and turning to look at the man's profile. "I'm not the kind of woman who discriminates against people with disabilities. In the future, let me take care of you." Huo Yan. Seeing that Huo Yan still didn't react or speak, Yun Qian sympathized even more with him, "So you're still mute. When God opens a window for you, he must also close a door for you. Sincerely, do not deceive me." A good skin bag turned out to be a little mute. Huo Yan. It's difficult for Secretary Li to explain this time. He can't tell Miss Yun that it's Huo Yan who doesn't want to speak, can he? I have to say that, the Yun family still has to go to the Huo family because of Huo Yan's hatred. Yun Qian pushed Huo Yan's wheelchair to the living room. At this moment, Yun Hua sat on the sofa with a cane, while Huo Ting flattered and introduced his son, saying, "Huo Ming is smart, Huo Shuai follows me, charming and charming, with a jade tree in the wind. Whatever, can my granddaughter still be interested?" Huo Ting was momentarily speechless and laughed awkwardly. "Grandpa." Yun Qian sat next to Yun Hua and introduced him, "This is my chosen husband, his name is Huo Yan." Huo Ting's pupils trembled and he said, "Big Miss, this and this, my 3 sons are disabled, What's wrong with disabled people?" Yun Qian retorted unhappily, "Is there a rule that disabled people cannot get married?" Yun Hua couldn't do anything about Yun Qian, "Your temperament hasn't changed at all, it's just being stubborn." "Where are you being stubborn? Do I like it?" Yun Hua looked at Huo Yan for a moment, and with just one glance, he could get a rough idea. "If you like it, I don't have much to say, but Grandpa only has one request." "What requirements?" "Disabled boss amp, Miss Jingjing too. Give birth to a little great-grandson for Grandpa." You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. "Within a year, I will see my little great-grandson." "Grandpa," Yun Qian was said to be shy. "I just don't know how many legs are missing, can I get pregnant?" Quickly, the two obtained their certificates, got married, and officially became husband and wife. During this process, Huo Yan has been assumed to be mute. Because he didn't say a word throughout the whole process, he just had a stinky face, as if someone owed him several million. Yun Qian didn't pay much attention. When she arrived at the new house, she went straight into the kitchen to make trouble, while Huo Yan pushed his wheelchair into the study to work. I have a little donkey and I never ride it. Yun Qian hummed a nursery rhyme while cooking. Huo Yan was currently working, but the sound of singing in the kitchen made it difficult for him to concentrate on his work. Huo Yan pushed the wheelchair to the kitchen and said, "Can you be quiet?" The voice out of thin air stopped Yun Qian from singing. She looked at the man outside the kitchen and was surprised. "So you're not mute. Who told you I'm mute?" "I'm sorry," Yun Qiancha began to apologize in a teasing tone. "I used to talk nonsense about you, but now I'm bothering you again. I won't hum any more later." Yun Qian scratched his head awkwardly, still smiling his brightest smile at him with a good temper. "But in my heart, I am being criticized. You kid, don't know how to wear headphones when you're too noisy. What's with your hand? If it weren't for 30 million, if it weren't for immortality, I would be endlessly cycling in your ear right now. I have a little donkey that I never ride." Huo Yan, who was unaware of Yun Qian's inner voice, didn't say anything more. Instead, he felt a hint of guilt in his heart, feeling too harsh towards her. He pushed his wheelchair to the study and continued working. But as time passed, a gust of vegetable fragrance drifted into his nose, causing his stomach to scream out of place at this moment. Suddenly feeling hungry. "I don't have much energy left for office work." Yun Qian served the dishes one by one and also served 2 bowls of rice. She walked outside the study and didn't go in. She just politely knocked on the door first. Huo Yan looked at her. Yun Qian finally showed his professional smirk and said, "Husband, the food is ready. Are you still busy now?" 30 million, it's time for us to eat." Huo Yan just pushed the wheelchair out. Yun Qian quickly stood behind him and pushed the wheelchair for him. At the dining table, the two sat face to face. Yun Qian propped his chin and stared at the handsome face of the man, without any hesitation. This face is really pleasing to the eye, it's full without eating. Huo Yan didn't pay much attention to the shallow clouds. He first slowly tasted a piece of braised pork belly, and a little surprise flashed in his eyes. How could he expect it to be so delicious? In the past, Western cuisine was mostly eaten at the Huo family, and Chinese cuisine was rarely eaten. But after tasting this Chinese food this time, it seems that it's not bad. Huo Yan went from being gentle at the beginning to stuffing big mouthfuls into his mouth. Eating very satisfying. Yun Qian didn't disturb him either. She just watched him finish all 3 dishes on the table before saying, "Is it okay?" Yun Qianqi smiled and said, "As long as you like it, I'll make it for you every day in the future." "As you please." "Wait a moment." Yun Qian tentatively said, "Do you still need to work? When will it be done?" "At 8 o'clock in the evening." "Okay." Yun Qian nodded, "Then I'll come find you after 8 o'clock. What are you looking for me for?" "Of course it's taking a shower." "Don't you want to take a shower? Are you going to wait on me to take a shower? I'm your wife. If I don't take care of your bathing, who will take care of your bathing? Actually, there are caregivers, Seeing Huo Yan about to refuse, Yun Qian held back a few tears and said with a hint of sadness, "Husband, do you dislike me? If there's anything I can't do well, just tell me and I can make changes. Can you please don't dislike me? It is said that men only eat the pitiful little white flour, and I don't believe you can't drink Longjing from the past 2 or 8 years. Huo Yan was a soft-hearted person who quickly surrendered and said, "Okay, I'll wait for you after 8 o'clock. Yun Qian finally smiled and said, "I knew my husband wouldn't dislike me." Yun Qian pushed Huo Yan's wheelchair and pushed him into the study before leaving. He called the servant and asked him to come and tidy up the dishes. She came to cook the meal to grab a man's stomach. But let's forget about other household chores. She is so good that she is also a wealthy heiress. She doesn't do work that is too hard, too tiring, or too harmful to her hands. At 7:30 p.m. Huo Yan has already started to feel like sitting on pins and needles. He felt a bit uncomfortable when he thought that Yun Qian would give him a bath later. Although they are married, they have no emotional foundation. Just got married, getting so close is really too fast. As time passed, Huo Yan became increasingly uneasy. It's too late. Yun Qian stood at the door of the study and knocked, showing off her charming smile. Before Huo Yan could excuse himself again, Yun Qian had already pushed his wheelchair into the bathroom. After pouring hot water into the bathtub, she squatted beside him and began unbuttoning his shirt. Huo Yan had never had such contact with women since childhood, and he was somewhat uncomfortable. He grabbed her wrist and said, "I'll do it myself." "Okay, take off your shirt yourself, I'll help you take off your pants." "I'll take a look at the size of 10 stars, what's the size?" Disabled Boss Amp, Miss Jing 3. Do you like babies? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Yun Qian used to work part-time as a caregiver, nanny, dishwasher, cleaner, and so on, so when it comes to taking care of a disabled person taking a shower, she is easy to handle and familiar with it. For Grandpa Mao's sake of 30 million yuan, she wouldn't hesitate even a little, not to mention bathing him or wiping his stool. She plans to become a qualified and virtuous wife, to influence the men in front of her. They all say that Mr. Ba likes a virtuous wife, but they don't know if it's true or false. If we could give him a son and a half daughters or something, would his heart soften a bit? Lowered the blackening value to the lowest level. Huo Yan didn't have time to stop Yun Qian's crazy behavior. Yun Qian was slapped in the face. It seems that I didn't hurt my third leg. Yun Qian swallowed his saliva. Huo Yan stopped with his hand and said, "I can wash it myself." "You go out first. You're all disabled, how do you wash yourself?" Yun Qian leaned his shoulder towards him. "You support me and sit in, I'll wipe your body." Huo Yan's face showed embarrassment. Yun Qian was not very shy, as if he had taken Huo Yan for granted, treating him like a human sculpture. "We are husband and wife are each other's families. We should support each other and help each other." Seeing Yun Qian so calm, Huo Yan didn't think much and still supported him to approach the bathtub, sitting inside. Yun Qian applied shower gel to the bath ball and wiped it against him, quickly producing many bubbles. "The hot water in this bathtub alternates, so I'm not afraid it won't wash properly." As she wiped the man's body, she delved deeper into the topic and said, "Why do your dad and brother both seem to dislike you?" Huo Yan remained silent and didn't really want to talk about this topic. Yun Qian understood in his heart, if you don't want to say it, we won't talk about it. It's just. If they bully you in the future, you must tell me that I will help you deal with them and never let you suffer any injustice. It seems like a role swap. He never thought that it was time for a woman to protect him. Huo Yan changed the topic and said, "I apologize to you for humming songs in the kitchen today. I shouldn't have hurt you. In the future, I will wear headphones for work, and you don't have to change yourself for me. Suddenly having an extra person living with us can make it difficult for us to adapt, but we just need to gradually adapt." Yun Qian's hand holding the bath ball gradually descended. Huo Yan grabbed her wrist and his breathing became rapid. "I'm a normal man, don't make any noise," he said. Yun Qian looked at Huo Yan affectionately, his eyes seeming to drip water. She slowly approached and watched his ears gradually turn red. Knowing that the time had come, she kissed him. This is Huo Yan's first kiss, and while she was wiping his body, she took the initiative to kiss him and took his first kiss. Lips are soft, like jelly, and very sweet. He watched her close her eyes, passionately and tenderly kissing himself. Huo Yan was intoxicated, as if drinking alcohol, but gradually sank. He also closed his eyes and enjoyed this wonderful kiss. Feeling the swelling in his hand, Yun Qian deliberately retreated at the right time. I didn't continue to satisfy him. On the contrary, Charlie apologized in a teasy tone, "You look so beautiful, I can't help it anymore. I don't know if it might be too abrupt and scare you. Sample, see if I'm crazy about you." Huo Yan was still unsatisfied and turned his face. "Isn't it husband and wife? Where did you come from?" "That's good." Yun Qian continued to wipe Huo Yan's body, but this time, Huo Yan grabbed Yun Qian's waist, causing her to fall into the bathtub. He pressed her head and forced a kiss, deepening the kiss. Just now, when Yun lightly kissed him, he was gentle and delicate. This time it was Huo Yan's turn to kiss her, but it seemed like he was about to swallow her. Bubbles were bubbling in the bathtub, the water was rippling, and then the waves were surging. The water in the bathtub kept splashing out. Yun Qian lightly bit the man's shoulder, wrapped his small hand around his neck, and murmured softly. The man held onto her slender waist, unwilling to let go. Afterwards, Yun Qian and Huo Yan were lying on the same bed, and the frenzy they had just experienced was lingering in their minds. Huo Yan has never been in a relationship in his life, nor has this happened to anyone else, but now most likely, it is due to the extraordinary power background of the Yun family, and coupled with Yun Qian's stunning face, which is exactly what he likes. He cannot refuse and can only follow suit. As for this intimacy, it was not about love for him, it was just curiosity in satisfying his physiological needs. But this peach blossom confused him again. Why did it happen to be him? He was puzzled and asked directly, "Why are you good to me?" "Because I like it." Family members, who knows? In the real world, being a caregiver to white people's feces, urine, and body may cost less than 3,000 yuan per month. But now I'm telling you, as long as you conquer the male lead, you can easily capture 30 million and ensure your immortality. Tell me, which big fool wouldn't be tempted? It's hard not to like it, okay? Huo Yan still felt it was not very practical, so he asked again, "What do you like?" "I like you." Yun Qian's mind was spinning rapidly. There aren't so many reasons to like someone. Because it's you, so I like them. No matter what you are, what I like is just you. Huo Yan smiled helplessly, unable to refute or fully agree. He felt something and said, "It feels good to be liked by you." Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value has been reduced by 5%, and currently the blackening value is 60%. Upon hearing the hint of a decrease in blackening value, Yun Qian became even happier. She leaned into Huo Yan's arms and chased after him. "Sanhua, do you like babies?" "I don't dislike it." "Can I give you a baby then?" Huo Yan was choked directly by Yun Qian and said, "Cough, isn't it painful? Does it hurt?" "I heard giving birth is very painful, you can skip it." "How can a child feel pain for their beloved life?" Yun Qian coaxed her sweetly, "Although I didn't want to have a child before, I think having a child must be very painful, right? But after encountering you, I don't think so anymore. I've given you the most beautiful love words I've ever said in my life. You're really lucky, kid. I really envy you, it's so easy to be satisfied. When you fall in love with someone, you will also become easily satisfied, so I will definitely make you like me. I have this confidence, and I hope you are as happy as me." Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value has decreased by 1%, and currently the blackening value is 59%. Yun Qian, talking about such a long string, I'm tired, but it only decreased by 1%. It's really stingy searching. The next day, the head of the Yun family and the head of the Huo family are having dinner and discussing business at the old house. Huo Ming, Huo Shui naturally arrived. Huo Yan pushed a wheelchair outside to relax and was about to send a message to his secretary asking him to directly suppress the Huo family's industry. The voices of Huo Ming and Huo Shui interrupted his next task. "Yo, the little disabled person has become the son-in-law of a wealthy family. What's the feeling of being a little white-faced when you're pregnant? Huo Shui stepped forward and kicked over Huo Yan's wheelchair. Disabled boss amp, Miss Zuo Jing 4. Have you ever seen ants on a hot pot? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After being kicked down, Huo Yan smiled instead of getting angry and said, I don't blame you for being angry. Miss Yun of the Yun family would rather choose me as a disabled person than you. It's really chilling. Huo Ming still wanted to kick Huo Yan, but Yun Qian stopped him and said, stop. She stepped forward and gave Huo Ming and Huo Shui a slap each. Huo Ming and Huo Shui were both stunned by this slap, leaving red palm marks on their side faces. These two slaps also hurt Yun Qian's hand, and she said coldly, who asked you to touch him and seek death? My grandpa Mao, can you also move? What are you guys like? Huo Ming was visibly dissatisfied, our siblings too disrespectful. Senior. Yun Qian chuckled lightly, do you also deserve it? Yun Qian helped Huo Yan back into his wheelchair and immediately instructed the bodyguards beside him, the Yun family doesn't welcome outsiders, throw them out. The bodyguards didn't say a word and threw Huo Ming and Huo Shui out of the Yun family mansion. When no one was around, Yun Qian squatted in front of Huo Yan and said, last night when you wanted me, my legs were fine, why didn't you counterattack? The best way to overcome a soft heart is to accumulate hatred. Remember everything you have encountered now, and wait until the day of revenge to be fully satisfied. Huo Yan's lips curved into a strange smile, have you ever seen ants on a hot pot? They struggle beautifully. Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value is plus 5%, and currently the blackening value is 64%. Yun Qian, if I had known it would be this kind of data, I wouldn't have asked. Huo Yan took Yun Qian's hand and spread out her palm. Seeing a red hue, he gently asked, does it hurt? I have said that I will protect you, and those who have agreed to protect you are not so fragile. Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value has decreased by 3%, and currently the blackening value is 61%. Huo Yan kissed Yun Qian's forehead and said, I'll remember your pain for you. When working in Huo Yan's office, Yun Qian has interacted with the refund system. His older brother and second brother are so bad to him, let him be blacked out. Why do you insist on reducing his blackening value? Is it difficult for you to like his big brother and second brother? Want to protect your crush? No way. The refund system quickly explained, it's because the male protagonist's blackening value will attack indiscriminately when it reaches full value. It doesn't matter if he kills his older brother or younger brother, but once it turns black and explodes, he will regard human life as worthless and become addicted to killing. So what if he becomes addicted to murder? Wouldn't the police arrest him? How could the world collapse? Huo Yan is the son of this world's fortune. He is equivalent to the ruler of this world. If the ruler dies, of course this world will be destroyed. Isn't it normal for the master to die? He will eventually die as a human. So we must leave him a descendant before he dies. Yun Qian, I used to use this abacus. Yun Qian privately contacted the bodyguards and directly asked them to kidnap Huo Ming and Huo Shui. As long as the male protagonist is not allowed to live in hatred all the time, the blackening value will naturally disappear, won't it? The blackening value has decreased, and Huo Yan will take revenge and kill the person who should be killed, so as not to harm the innocent. When Huo Yan had already completed his official duties and did not see her, it made him very uncomfortable and worried. As soon as he saw her enter the house, he hurriedly said, Where have you been? Yun Qian approached Huo Yan and hugged his waist, snuggling in his arms like a little bird. Miss me. The man became proud and coquettishly rejected, no. Yun Qian looked up slightly, pursed his lips, and spoke in a aggrieved voice, didn't he? But I've been thinking of you since I left the house, thinking of you, wanting to be with you. Yun Qian hesitated to speak, but leaned into Huo Yan's ear and whispered seduction, do. Huo Yan quickly reacted to being teased. She picked up Yun Qian, placed him on the dining table, and kissed him. Yun Qian wrapped his left hand around his neck, gently stroked the back of his head with his right hand, and leaned his body back slightly. The two of them couldn't control each other. When the man kissed down, Yun Qian probably didn't want to be at the dining table, so he deliberately said, "I killed someone." Huo Yan stopped his movements. Yun Qian joked, "Are you afraid?" Huo Yan grabbed her little hand, as if checking something. "Did you clean it up?" He is not afraid of her killing someone, but he is afraid that she may not handle it properly. "Aren't you curious who I killed?" Yun Qian said discontentedly, "I won't ask, but if you want me to know, you will definitely say." Yun Qian smiled knowingly, as if they understood each other very well and didn't need to say too much. Yun Qian opened the door and saw the mountain path. "I killed your elder brother and second brother." "You shouldn't have done it yourself," Huo Yan lightly stroked her finger bones. "Killing them will only dirty your hands." "I know, but..." Yun Qian coquettishly said, "They don't want you to be constantly upset. It is said that living in hatred can be very oppressive and tiring, but I don't want you to be like this. I don't want to see you suffer any injustice. So, let me help you out of your resentment. If you can't stand it, you can tell me and I can solve it for you." Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value has decreased by 5%, and currently the blackening value is 56%. "Don't like the dining table." Huo Yan seemed to read his mind. "Let's change seats." "How do you know what's on my mind?" So satisfying, you can still interject and forcefully interrupt. "I can see that you are very dissatisfied with this position. What's so great about it? Isn't it just to cooperate with you? If it doesn't hurt, it's good. It's all about strength, not any skills. You will always laugh at me." Yun Qian pretended to be shy and his voice became quieter. "I won't give you a kiss." "It's late." Huo Yan hugged Yun Qian onto the sofa. "The fire you started, you're responsible for extinguishing it. Am I a lighter? Can I still start a fire?" The sofa was soft and didn't hit her knees, but Yun Qian didn't refuse much anymore. The two of them were deeply immersed, and Yun Qian's nails had penetrated into the man's back. Disabled boss amp, Miss Zuo Jing 5. Blackout value refund. Step back. Step back. You are listening at novel full.audio. Afterwards. Huo Yan carried the delicate beauty to the bathroom and a few more shots came. Yun Qian was completely powerless and fell asleep, letting him do whatever he wanted. After bathing, seeing the bruises on Jiamei's knee, Huo Yan still bought medicine and wiped it on her. Watching her sleeping quietly, for some reason, a certain position in her heart softened a bit. Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value has decreased by 5%, and currently the blackening value is 51%. The word ding dong in her sleep may be the most touching reminder she has ever heard. Yun Qian's mouth curved slightly, indicating satisfaction. Blackout value refund. Refuse. Refuse. The second day. The man was full of energy and woke up early in the morning, holding a private meeting in his study. Until the afternoon, Yun Qiankai opened his eyes in a daze. She took the phone from the front desk and glanced at the time. As soon as he saw it was afternoon, Yun Qian quickly got up and quickly washed up. She also ordered a cake and was waiting to go to the store to pick it up. She agreed to give Huo Yan a birthday surprise. After taking the cake home, Yun Qian called Huo Yan to ask when he would be back home so that he could prepare in advance. Just as soon as the phone was called, I heard the ringtone in the study. Startled, Yun Qian quickly hung up the phone and went to hide the cake. Huo Yan was in a meeting when he was interrupted by this phone call. He was originally very unhappy and seemed to get angry at any time. The management personnel who were listening to Mr. Huo's speech in the video were also quite frightened. They all knew that Huo Yan had a bad temper. If anyone dared to disturb him at the meeting, he would be merciless and lay off employees after scolding. However, just as everyone was waiting for Mr. Huo to curse, seeing the caller ID, Huo Yan's expression softened a lot and he didn't feel as tense and uncomfortable as before. The complexion looked rosy and gentle, as if the spring breeze was brushing over, warm and warm. The meeting ends here first, and I still have to accompany my wife. Huo Yan seemed to be afraid that others wouldn't know he had a wife, so he specifically mentioned his wife and smiled brilliantly. The people listening to the video conference in the conference room were dumbfounded. When did they see Huo Yan laughing so brightly? This is also the first time. It's so strange that they all want to see this CEO's wife, it's so amazing. Huo Yan closed his laptop and left the study. At this moment, Yun Qian is looking for a place to hide the cake. "Are you hungry?" the man exclaimed. Startled, Yun Qian directly stuffed the birthday cake into the refrigerator and tightly closed the door, feeling flustered as if he had done something shameful. You've been at home all this time. Otherwise. I thought you all were working. It's probably because Huo Yan is sensitive and suspicious. Isn't it good to be with you at home? Why are you still looking forward to me going to work? Is it difficult? The man approached Yun Qian step by step, and Yun Qian retreated step by step, guarding the refrigerator. Until Yun Qian's back pressed tightly against the refrigerator door, Huo Yan stood still and said, "What are you panicking about? Is it possible that someone is hidden in the refrigerator? You're all joking, this refrigerator is layered, how can we hide people?" Huo Yan breathed a sigh of relief and said, "That's right." He pinched the woman's chin, and at this moment, his warm and extremely approachable face was like the flying snow in the sky, piercing and cold. "Shallow, my heart is small. I'll tell you in advance that I won't serve a woman with anyone else." Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value increases by 1%, and currently the blackening value is 52%. How many coal balls did you eat? The blacken value is constantly rising, and if the stock had your eyes, I wouldn't worry about not making money. Seeing Yun Qian's silence, Huo Yan squeezed the woman's chin slightly and said, "Not only am I narrow-minded, but I also have a cleanliness obsession. If the other person gets dirty, I will kill her, wash her inside and outside before making a specimen. So I'm not afraid she'll run away, and I'm not afraid she'll mess around. Do you think I'm being thoughtful? Yun Qian, why don't you pull out my hair and plant it on your head? Why don't you peel off my skin and make a coat for you? Why don't you draw my blood and give it all to your veins? Why don't you just draw my bones and put them on your belly?" Seeing that Yun Qian still didn't reply, Huo Yan's face became even colder. "If you don't speak, are you afraid? Are you regretting marrying me?" Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value increases by 1%, and currently the blackening value is 53%. The blackening value was added by rubbing, and Yun Qian wanted to roll her eyes, but she still held back. She forced out a few tears, scolded loudly, and regained the initiative. "In your eyes, am I such a promiscuous woman? It is said that trust is the most important thing between couples, but you. Are you doubting my feelings for you? Huo Yan, you're going too far. These days of love and time have been paid in the wrong way." Thinking of the increasing blackening value and the distance between 30 million and her 53%, Yun Qian's face was now filled with tears. Huo Yan finally calmed down and felt heartbroken in an instant. "I'm sorry, Qian, I didn't mean to do this. I just love you too much. I don't feel secure, Can you doubt my sincerity towards you without a sense of security?" Yun Qian chased after me with victory. I immediately went to the cake shop to pick up the cake when I got up from bed. I was afraid that you would find this cake, and I was afraid there would be no surprises, so I hid it in the refrigerator and didn't let you know. But what are you doing? You are doubting me being Tibetan. You suspect me of stealing. After speaking, Yun Qian directly opened the refrigerator and a beautiful big cake was displayed in front of him. At this moment, his guilt doubled and he felt even more sorry for Yun Qian. Why buy a cake? He was puzzled. Yun Qian explained, "Because today is your birthday. I want to celebrate your birthday." "How do you know my birthday?" Huo Yan's eyes flickered with a hint of desolation. No one has ever cared about my birthday, and the person who gave me my birthday has also died. It's been a long time since I celebrated my birthday. Seeing Huo Yan moved, Yun Qian aimed at the opportunity and tightly hugged the man in front of him. He wiped his nose and tears all over his clothes, saying, "How could I not know your birthday? Don't we have each other's birthdays on our marriage certificates? We are a family, I am your wife. Is it not allowed for a wife to celebrate her husband's birthday? Not only will I celebrate your birthday today, but every year from now on, I will also celebrate your birthday ding dong." The male lead's blackening value has been reduced by 25% and currently the blackening value is 28%. Yun Qian's entire pupils are inverted. Nima, your blackening value is really a free choice. You said you loved your birthday, but as for me, I'm like taking care of a child, cooking and bathing for you. Yun Qian seizes Huo Yan's soft heart and continues to chase after the victory. Later, the wedding anniversary 5/20, diary Valentine's Day 1/14, Qixi Valentine's Day 2/14, White Valentine's Day 3/14, Black Valentine's Day 4/14, Rose Valentine's Day 5/14, Kiss Valentine's Day 6/14, Silver Valentine's Day 7/14, Green Valentine's Day 8/14, Photo Valentine's Day 9/14, Wine Valentine's Day 1014, as well as our traditional Valentine's Day on the 7th day of July, especially your birthday, we all have to celebrate together. Sample, can't you give me a negative 272% blackening value now? I'll get it for you in minutes, sister. Disabled boss amp, Miss Zuo Jing 6. You can add my wife's WeChat account. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huo Yan was momentarily speechless, but when he realized it, he still smiled helplessly. In the evening, Yun Qian started stirring up trouble in the kitchen and made 2 bowls of noodles. After Huo Yan finished his work, the two sat at the dining table, facing each other. You should eat noodles first on your birthday. It's called longevity noodles. You can taste it. Yun Qian puts the bowl of noodles in front of Huo Yan. Huo Yan quickly tasted it. How's it going? Is it okay? Yun Qian said nervously, it's delicious. Her cooking skills were recognized, but Yun Qian still felt happy in her heart. She smiled brightly. After the two finished their noodles, Yun Qian opened the cake, placed candles on top, lit them again, and finally turned off the lights in the living room. The atmosphere felt good, and she sang him a birthday song, "Happy Birthday to You." Repeating, "Happy Birthday to You," in 4 different tones. Huo Yan's eyes have already turned a bit red. He hasn't celebrated his birthday for a long time. His mother used to celebrate it for him, but she passed away. Now it's Yun Qian accompanying him. This time it truly made him feel that he and Yun Qian were already family. Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value has been reduced by 15%, and currently the blackening value is 13%. Upon hearing the prompt to reduce the blackening value, Yun Qian smiled even more happily and sang the birthday song more vigorously. Okay, make a wish. Yun Qian took out his phone and began taking photos of the birthday star. Under the camera, Huo Yan expressed his wish to her, "I want to be with you forever." What wish? Huo Yan stated, "My wish is to be with you forever." In his phone, Huo Yan's gaze was so clear. Yun Qian felt no waves in his heart and said, "All right, it's time to blow out the candles." Huo Yan blew out the candles. Yun Qian clapped and handed Huo Yan the prop knife for the birthday cake, asking him to cut the cake. The two of them started eating the cake. While eating, Yun Qian asked, "If you're on your honeymoon, where do you want to go?" After speaking, Yun Qian regretted again and said, "It seems like it's not possible. You can't go on your honeymoon, right? Would it be inconvenient to wear a wheelchair? It's also not convenient for you to disguise yourself, right? You can choose not to bring a wheelchair." Huo Yan's answer widened Yun Qian's eyes and he said, "But Didn't you say you want to accumulate hatred and remember that it's better to seek revenge? If you don't use a wheelchair, they won't bully you anymore. Will you feel soft-hearted? No, Huo Yan said firmly. They're not important enough to make me refuse your honeymoon. Yun Qian was bewildered and forced. This guy, why did he suddenly become so enlightened and speak so well? From then on, Huo Yan no longer used a wheelchair. Yun Qian still hasn't forgotten her task, and generally feels that Huo Yan is lacking in love, so she started a series of love plans. Go shopping, eat, watch movies with Huo Yan. You can't underestimate these 3-piece sets. The important thing is not the shopping, eating, and watching movies themselves, but the process. This is not. Yun Qian started showing Huo Yan clothes and gestured while picking them out. The clothes aren't that good, but why do they look so good on you? Huo Yan was teased again and smiled slightly embarrassed. You're not going to show yourself around. Do people like to show you around? They care more about their family than themselves, can't they? The word family moved Huo Yan deeply. Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value has decreased by 1%, and currently the blackening value is 12%. Yun Qian's treacherous plan succeeded. Tired of strolling, the two of them found a Chinese restaurant and ate face to face together. Yun Qian looked at the menu and once again showed his skills: braised beef with potatoes, steamed pork with flour, carp and tofu soup, and white braised vegetable hearts. After ordering, she asked Huo Yan, "What else do you want to eat? You and I have similar tastes." "It's different," Yun Qian became proud and coquettish. "It's just that I know you like to eat these, that's why I gave you some." "How do you know?" "I made a Manchu Han banquet at home before, and you eat these dishes the most frequently, so I think you should really like them, right?" Ding dong, the male lead's blackening value has decreased by 1%, and currently the blackening value is 11%. Huo Yan fell silent. Previously, only my mother would remember what he liked to eat and what he didn't like to eat. Mom is also the only family member who loves him. But now, for Huo Yan, Yun Qian felt like heaven had treated him too unfairly, which was why he gave him a reward. "What about you, what do you like to eat?" he asked and began to learn to consider the other person's feelings. "My taste is quite strong, and you may not be used to it, but it's okay. I can eat whatever you like, and have something light, which is also good for your health." Yun Qian handed the menu to the waiter. The waiter then left with the already marked menu. Just as Huo Yan and Yun Qian were chatting deeply, a very beautiful girl ran up, looking a little shy and bulging her brave voice. "May I ask if it's possible to add a WeChat account?" Huo Yan gestured in his eyes and politely refused. "My phone doesn't have internet access, you can add my wife's WeChat." "Oh, sorry to bother you," the little girl hurriedly ran away. Yun Qian looked at the direction of the little girl's departure and couldn't help but say, "Why hasn't anyone asked me for WeChat?" At this moment, there is a bit of revealing one's true nature. Huo Yan's expression instantly became serious, and his eyes could breathe fire. "Do you really want to be asked for WeChat by another man? Who wouldn't?" Yun Qian regained his senses and was now facing Huo Yan's terrifying gaze, which frightened her in the latter half of the sentence. He quickly changed his mind. "Who wouldn't want to be welcomed? But you are still the only one in my heart. They just feel that if I lose to you, it will make me look very unworthy of you." Huo Yan breathed a sigh of relief and his expression improved a lot. "I said if it's worth it, it's worth it. Don't worry about others," he said. After the little interlude, the two of them went to watch a movie again, chatting and laughing in the cinema, eating the same box of popcorn. "Sanhua, have you ever watched a movie with someone else before?" "No." "So, am I the first one?" Yun Qian pretended to be happy in his heart and said, "Then all of your first experiences are mine. Aren't you?" Yun Qian leaned into Huo Yan's ear, deliberately exhaled, and responded in a low voice, "Guess what? Don't tempt me." When the two of them left the cinema, Liu Qianqian, who was distributing flyers on the side, noticed the man. "She has a deep impression, this man was the one who had a car accident and had his leg broken. It was she who hit 120 that saved his life. Looking at his current fashion style and the healthy appearance of his legs, Liu Qianqian wants to fight for her own destiny. She threw all the flyers into the trash can, deliberately tore up her clothes, took off her rubber band, let her long hair fall down, and then messed it up. She ran towards Huo Yan and grabbed him. Huo Yan and Yun Qian stopped, and Yun Qian looked inexplicably at the woman with disheveled hair in front of him. I saw Liu Qianqian looking up slightly, with tears still hanging on her slightly dirty face. I still pity her and say, do you remember me? Yun Qian. Disabled boss amp, Miss Zuo Jing 7. Huo Yan cares about Yun Qian's feelings towards him. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Disabled boss amp, Miss Zuo Jing 8. Huo Yan is angry and causes trouble for Yun Qian. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Huo Yan's brain circuit is different from that of ordinary men. At this moment, he is in a happy mood, and even a little excited. She doesn't seem to like you. Huo Yan's joyful expression was hard for Liu Qianqian to understand. Although she seemed to treat me well on the surface, there was always a hint of sarcasm in her words. The look in her eyes just now seemed like she wanted to eat me. I'm afraid, just afraid that if you're not by my side, will she? Liu Qianqian hesitated to speak and continued to stir up trouble. If I were Yun Qian, I would definitely treat your life-saving benefactor kindly. After all, that is the person who saved your life. Since that is the case, she must also be my life-saving benefactor. But Yun Qian may not be as tolerant and indifferent as I am. She seems to mind my arrival very much, a bit petty and a bit narrow-minded. Huo Yan listened quite smoothly earlier, feeling that women see women the most accurately. Yun Qian must be jealous of him and like him. But in the last sentence, listening to Yun Qian being ridiculed, Huo Yan's expression didn't look that good anymore. She's my wife, and it's only natural for her to care about the women around me. If she can't accommodate you, I won't be able to accommodate you either. So in the future, don't do one thing in front of me and another behind my back, and then talk about my wife's right and wrong in front of me. Otherwise, be careful of being petty and petty. I'm afraid it's not my wife but you. Huo Yan went upstairs and left. Liu Qianqian stood still, unable to react. When Huo Yan returned to the master bedroom, Yun Qian was still in the bathroom. However, the door was ajar, and Huo Yan didn't think much and went in directly. Only Yun Qian was lying flat in the bathtub with a facial mask on his face and 2 pieces of cucumber on his eyes. This looks comfortable and comfortable, there is no trace of jealousy in it. The man was slightly dissatisfied, so he stood behind her and squatted down, starting to massage her. This touch scared Yun Qian so much that her cucumber slices fell off. She sat up coldly, holding onto the bathtub with both hands, and looked at the man in front of her. I'm taking a shower. Why did you suddenly come in? Can't enter. Ah. Huo Yan suddenly opened up and retorted to Yun Qian, who couldn't figure it out. She said in a daze, not really. Suddenly, which one caused the commotion? The next second, Huo Yan kissed her lips. As he imagined, it was fragrant and soft. Yun Qian didn't know why. Until the corner of her lips hurt, she pushed him hard and said, "Why are you biting me? Are you not nervous?" Nervous? Yun Qian was once again confused. What's so nervous about? Are you angry? Are you not angry either? Of course I'm angry. Yun Qian wanted to curse out loud, but upon closer examination, she came to lower her blackening value. With this thought, she changed her tone and said, "You've hurt me so much. But I won't be angry for too long either. Who said I like you? If you hurt me, I can forgive you now. But you can be gentle afterwards. What else? What else? What else is there?" Huo Yan lost patience and said, what do you think about Liu Qianqian entering the house? What is your mood? Yun Qian thought Huo Yan was coming to provoke a teacher to question him, so he had to pretend to be virtuous and say, "Didn't I say that? She is both your savior and my savior. We should treat her well and repay her. I am not the kind of woman who is petty and petty." I naturally feel grateful for her arrival. Huo Yan didn't ask again, and then he followed suit by kissing Yun Qian inside and out in the bathtub. It's more like gnawing than kissing. The promised pain, but the man refused to let go, especially in the second half. It was as if the hungry wolf had caught the wild goat and devoured it relentlessly. Yun Qian was tormented to the point of crying and complaining while beating him, but he dared not go too far. After all, she came to reduce the blackening value. Outside the master bedroom, the door was not yet tightly closed, and Liu Qianqian listened attentively. I heard her blush, shy and irritable, yet envious and jealous. This Yun Qian has a beautiful and vulgar appearance, which cannot compare to her pure and dignified appearance, but Yun Qian was able to live in such a good house. With such a good husband, Liu Qianqian was somewhat dissatisfied. In theory, she is Huo Yan's life-saving benefactor, and all of these should have been her. But Liu Qianqian did not listen in the master bedroom for too long, but went to other areas to watch. This villa is very large and has many rooms. Liu Qianqian accidentally entered the cloakroom, and seeing the grandeur of the room, her eyes lit up with starlight. She took a new dress with an unopened tag and changed it directly in front of the mirror. This dress costs tens of thousands, which is enough for her half a year's salary. Liu Qianqian circled around in front of the mirror, still very fond of this place, but she had to work harder to have such a closet in the future. The second day. Yun Qian was tossed and turned, so tired that he couldn't wake up at all, and Huo Yan works in the study. Looking at such a good opportunity, Liu Qianqian changed into a camisole nightgown, appearing less deliberate but unintentionally sexy. She directly carried a bowl of chicken soup into Huo Yan's study and then closed the door of the study. Listening to the sound of the study door closing, Huo Yan finally looked in her direction. He thought it was Yun Qian, but he didn't expect it to be Liu Qianqian. The man's smile gradually turned into ice in his eyes. "What's up? I see you've been working for a long time, you must be very tired, so." Liu Qianqian said cautiously, "I made chicken soup for you." Liu Qianqian stepped forward and placed the bowl of chicken soup next to Huo Yan's desk. After putting it down, he pretended to slip and was about to fall into Huo Yan's arms. Huo Yan was almost quick with his eyes and hands, and his first reaction was to step back. The automatic swivel chair slid to the back, and Liu Qianqian sat down on the ground, causing her bones to creak and crack in pain. "I fell quite seriously," Huo Yan kindly reminded. "Why don't we go to the hospital to see?" Huo Yan's words once again made Liu Qianqian confident. She looked at Huo Yan affectionately, treating the accident just now as an accident in carelessness. "Are you worried about me?" she said with a gentle voice as she regained her strength. Huo Yan was momentarily speechless. "Are you shy, Ian?" Liu Qianqian stood up and gathered the courage to approach again, intending to fall into his arms. Huo Yan was so scared that he blurted out, "I'm not a doctor, I can't see it, I have to go to the hospital." "Okay, I'll wait for you." "Wait for me? Aren't you going to take me to the hospital?" "I'm busy, not available." Huo Yan, reciting her life-saving kindness, kindly gave her a step. "Let the secretary take you, or go by yourself. Actually, it's not serious either." "Well," Huo Yan said coldly, "then you can go out. I still have to work." Huo Yan's attitude made Liu Qianqian start to reflect on herself. "Did I bother you?" Huo Yan sincerely, Liu Qianqian showed embarrassment on her face and eventually left the study. As soon as she left the study, she saw Yun Qian descending the stairs. Liu Qianqian had a plan in mind. It seems that Huo Yan doesn't like to be disturbed while working. If Yun Qian enters and disturbs him at this moment, will he be angry again? Thinking about it, Liu Qianqian walked towards Yun Qian and said, "Mr. Huo is in the study and looks a bit tired and unhappy." Yun Qian, would you like to take a look? Disabled boss amp, Miss Zuo Jing 9. Liu Qianqian seems to be a part of their play. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. If he is tired, he should rest well. If he is angry, I shouldn't touch his mold, so as not to let him vent his anger on me. What should I do? Yun Qian poured himself a glass of milk. If you're worried, go comfort him a few words. Anyway, the blackening value is the same if you lower it for me. If you can help me lower the blackening value, I don't mind if you let Huo Yan take care of you. 3 people can also make a whole burning winter. Coincidentally, Huo Yan is working in the study and the door is not closed. The conversation between the two was naturally heard clearly by Huo Yan. Huo Yan was almost overwhelmed by Yun Qian's relaxed and graceful attitude. Who's a good wife to let other women comfort her husband? How does this sound? Huo Yan feels strange. Angry, Huo Yan left the study and looked directly in the direction of Yun Qian, informing her, "Wake up, come to the study." Yun Qian didn't even know what he had done wrong. This person was angry, and why did he ask her to go to the study? She began to worry about her situation. As soon as he entered the study, Huo Yan rushed towards her like a wolf and tiger, and the door was closed. He picked her up to the desk and nibbled on her. "You're not in a good mood, so you can't keep venting on me." Yun Qian pushed him in pain. "Do you know where you went wrong? Am I at fault? Have you forgotten your identity?" Yun Qian looked bewildered and said, "Even if I were your wife, you couldn't keep gnawing at me like this." Yun Qian lifted his shirt, revealing his collarbone, which was still swollen and red. "Look, what have you bitten into?" "Should I go out now?" he said. "And it hurts a lot. I was very cooperative with you yesterday, but I can't do this every day, no. This is no longer what it is like every day. You just gnaw on it in less than half a day. I'm not a pig's trotters, why are you allowed to gnaw on it? If you can't stop this quirk, then find another woman to solve it for you." Ding dong, male lead's blackening value increases by 5%, currently blackening value is 16%. The sudden increase in blackening value made Yun Qian even more angry. She pushed him away, got off the desk, and scolded coldly, "Cold War. Don't come to me again recently. When you calm down, we can communicate again. Entering the study and being inexplicably bitten, how dare you increase your blackening value? If I haven't increased my blackening value, it's good. If you dare to increase it, it's still 5 numbers. I'll provoke you." As soon as she left the study, she saw Liu Qianqian. Perhaps because the blackening value increased too much, she was too lazy to pretend and vented her resentment towards Liu Qianqian. "Who's the nanny who loves to eavesdrop on the corners of the walls so much? Can you straighten out your identity?" After scolding, Yun Qian went upstairs. Liu Qianqian was too lazy to explain anything to Yun Qian. She just managed to squeeze out a few tears and looked at Huo Yan. I was just not careful. Call me Mr. Huo." Huo Yan responded angrily as he had just had an argument with Yun Qian and was also angry. "Close the door." Liu Qianqian was stunned and closed the door to the study. This made Liu Qianqian feel uneasy in her heart. She felt that the relationship between the husband and wife had been destroyed by her, but at the same time, she felt that Huo Yan seemed to treat her very average and didn't have much meaning. It seems that she still needs to work hard. At noon, Liu Qianqian cooked and specifically ran to the study to knock on the door. Huo Yan thought it was Yun Qian, so he replied, "Enter." Liu Qianqian pushed open the door of the study and looked at the man, Ian. "No, Mr. Huo, it's time for dinner." As Huo Yan listened to the voice, the gentleness in his eyes gradually faded. What about her? Yun Qian. She should still be getting angry. Liu Qianqian continued to provoke, "Little girls nowadays are like this. They always want to die or die because of small things, and they can't stop it. He has a bad temper and is stubborn and likes to be petty. It really hurts Mr. Huo. If I were Mr. Huo's wife, I would definitely understand his hard work and take care of his daily life, call her madam. Huo Yan's face looked a bit ugly. Also, I didn't tell you before, don't talk about my wife's right and wrong, how come she doesn't have a long memory? I just feel sorry for Mr. Huo. Shallow is the mistress of the house, and she also took you in, Huo Yan warned out loud. As a nanny, you don't care about the mistress of the house, but instead care about the mistress's husband. Are you having some ulterior motives? You have shown me kindness to save my life and kindness to take me in. Since I am grateful and willing to give you money to buy your house and find someone to protect you, I hope you will not be ungrateful. I'm just a little more familiar with Mr. Huo. I thought Yun. Madam, she took me in because of your face, so I've always regarded you as my benefactor. Do you want me to be honest? Huo Yan said seriously, I don't want to take you in, and the fact that she wants to take you in makes me very unhappy. If you can be more sensible, let me give you a house, money, and a bodyguard. I would be very grateful. After all, no one would hope for an extra outsider in a house where couples live together. Liu Qianqian's eyes turned red, tears streaming down her face. If you feel wronged staying here, you can consider my proposal and take the money to leave. I won't treat you unfairly in material terms. Not aggrieved. Liu Qianqian gritted her teeth, but became more and more courageous as she struggled. At the beginning, we were all unfamiliar and didn't understand each other, which led to misunderstandings. Stay a little longer and let me take good care of you. Not only can it provide me with shelter, but it also allows me to have a good understanding of what kind of person Madam is, so much so that Mr. Huo can maintain his fascination. Liu Qianqian left the study and went to ask Yun Qian for a meal. Yun Qian just woke up from her nap and opened the door. Liu Qianqian greeted her with a smile, completely free from the embarrassment of being ridiculed by Huo Yan just now. Madam, it's time to eat. Are you going down? Yun Qian was about to go downstairs with her, but when he reached the staircase, Liu Qianqian gritted his teeth and pretended to fall back. Without any help, Yun Qian looked at her coldly and fell down on his own. After Liu Qianqian fell down, she began acting and said, It hurts so much, madam. Why? Why did you push me? What did I do wrong? My legs, I'm afraid they won't be able to stand anymore, it hurts so much with this loud call. Huo Yan happened to leave the study and saw this scene, but he did not come forward to help Liu Qianqian, but instead hit 120. After seeing Huo Yan, Liu Qianqian continued to cry bitterly, Mr. Huo, madam. She somehow pushed me downstairs. I don't understand what I did wrong. Huo Yan looked at Yun Qian and said, Did you push it? Yun Qian responded angrily, What if I pushed it? What if I didn't push it? Don't forget, we're in a cold war. Don't talk to me. Huo Yan. Is the proof you pushed that you care about me, and I am happy. It's not you who pushed it, then forget it. Disabled boss amp, Miss Zuo Jing 10. Huo Yan, extreme and dangerous. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text.